Hey, Tiffany, are you there? I just wanted to make sure that you were ready for the wedding. You do know that you have to follow the plan exactly how I laid it out for you, right? I don't want to see even a single misstep from you. I mean it. If anything goes wrong at the wedding, it is all going to be on you, understand?
Carmen, please. As my mother-in-law, I'm asking to please just let me not go to the wedding. I mean, I'm not even any kind of wedding planner. You just came up to me one day and started listing off things you'd like to see at the wedding.
Well, what is even the point of having you around if you can't do something as simple as plan a wedding? Maybe if you talked less and listened more, you wouldn't be having this problem. Now, I told you exactly how I wanted this wedding to go. It is your job to make sure that that dream comes true and that it's perfect down to the last detail.
Carmen, I get that you want all this, but it's Lucy's wedding, and she hasn't mentioned anything about this to me.
Oh, so you're saying that you don't care if you totally ruin Lucy's wedding, all because she didn't tell you what she wanted?
Of course that's not what I'm saying. But I am literally 8 months pregnant. I am pretty much ready to pop. If anything happens, if I were to end up having this baby early, I wouldn't be able to help at all. Besides, I really would like to be able to concentrate more on this as it is my first child. And with all that in mind, I just really don't think that I should be at Lucy's wedding at all.
You really are such a worrywart. Do you know that? What does any of this wedding business have to do with your baby? Take it from me, someone who has had kids and raised them too. You need to be keeping your body fit while you're pregnant. Or at least give yourself something to do and concentrate on. That's why you have to make sure Lucy's wedding is perfect. And if I hear even a single grumble or gripe from any of the guests, you will be hearing about it.
So you're really just going to use me to do all this hard work that you don't do?
What else is a daughter-in-law for? I'm the mother-in-law, and that means that what I say goes, got it?
Please, Carmen, I'll give you some money to help pay for the preparations if you'll just let me rest and focus on the baby.
You really are just pathetic, do you know that? You are going to be there at the wedding, and that is that. You useless, stupid woman. How could you miss Lucy's wedding? What is the matter with you? Do you know how embarrassing it was for me to have to explain why you weren't there?
I already told you about this, Carmen. I'm going to be giving birth any day now, and I wasn't going to the wedding in the first place.
Well, I know you said that, but I didn't think that you actually meant it. But whatever, I suppose there really is no going back on any of this now.
And just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, I mean that if you're really going to miss my daughter's wedding, all because of your pregnancy, then I just really don't think that I have any more use for you. And that's why I was sent off the divorce papers for you and my son. Now I want you to pack your bags and leave this house right now.
You mean you really submitted the paperwork for Tom and I to get a divorce?
That's right. What else do you think I meant by that? But you only have yourself to blame. I have no idea what my son was thinking about getting with you.
I don't believe it. How could you do this? Well, whatever. I'll just go to the courthouse tomorrow and explain the mistake to them.
It's too late. Those papers have already been long processed. There's nothing you can do about this now.
Well, I am just going to see about that, because I don't remember putting my signature on any kind of divorce papers.
I tried to warn you. I told you time and time again not to miss that wedding, didn't I? But thanks to you, I was the one left in charge of things. And let's just say the wedding was not what I had pictured when I gave you my specifications. But I guess it worked for what it was.
I don't get it, Carmen. Do you really not care at all what happens to your grandchild that I'm carrying right now?
Of course I'm not worried. What could possibly happen? You watch way too many soap operas, but until you learn to behave yourself, you are banned from this house. Now pack up your bags and never ever come back here again. If you'll excuse me, I have some dinner plans to attend, but I want you out of the house before I get back.
Hey, Tiffany. How's it going? I'm just about to head back home. Just let me know if you want me to pick up anything on my way back.
Thanks so much for asking after me, Owen. But aren't you going to that dinner with your wife?
What? That thing? Nah, I wasn't going to go to that. Besides, an after party for a wedding really isn't for parents to be going to.
Oh, really? But Carmen told me that she was going to be going. That's why I thought you were too.
Yeah, well, I guess she had something upsetting her about the wedding today. She said she was going to go and try and brighten her mood. But we'll see how that goes when she's surrounded by women half her age.
Oh, I see. Well, I just want to let you know that I'm sorry I missed the wedding today.
That's okay. You have nothing to apologize for.
I just think that I'm the reason why Carmen is so upset, because I didn't go to the wedding.
I don't understand. Did my wife say something to you that made you think that?
Yeah, she told me that I was an awful person for missing the wedding, and that she wanted me to move out.
She really said that to you? I am so sorry about that, Tiffany.
No, you don't have anything to apologize for either. It's not like any of this was your fault either.
I know. But what was she thinking acting like that? I mean, can't she see that you're pregnant? You've got more important things to worry about. But did she do something else? Are you okay?
Well, actually, she told me that she submitted the divorce papers for Tom and I.
You've got to be kidding me. Why in the world would she do that?
I was going to try and go to the courthouse to fix this mistake, but your wife said it was already too late.
I had no idea this was going on. But I'll try talking to Carmen to get to the bottom of this.
You really have some nerve, do you know that? I know that you went and cried to my husband last night. It's all your fault that he's mad at me now. You really should know better than to mess with your mother-in-law. You think I'm just going to lie here and let you get away with this? I'll teach you a harsh lesson about what you've done.
I don't get it. What did I even do? You're the one throwing me out of the house while I'm so pregnant. Do you really not see at all how you're being bad here too?
I don't really care at all what you think about this situation. The point is that I'm your mother-in-law and you have a duty to do as I say.
Oh, come on. You can't really believe that, right? You're just saying that so you can make me do the work you don't want to. But try and think about the baby that I'm carrying. You're literally kicking me out of the house. You went and filed for me to divorce your son. You're completely out of control right now. You realize this is my first kid, right? I already had enough to worry about without you acting like this. So can you please just leave me alone already?
You really are such a crybaby. Why in the world do you think you got to live in the house? It's because you belong to me, just like the house. You are nothing but an object to me, and if you won't do as I say, then I don't need you.
So you really just don't care at all what happens to me then, is that it?
I care about you doing what I want when I want. Do that for me and I might even start to like you. But if you're just going to talk back and disobey me, then this is the kind of treatment you can expect from me.
Okay, fine then. Be that way. If you really want to play this way, then that's just fine.
Oh no, I'm so scared. Whatever will a nobody like you do to me?
You have no idea how scared you really should be, but I hope you're ready for what I have in store for you.
Oh, of course. I'm just shivering right now thinking about whatever terrible thing it is you have in mind. So why don't you go ahead and give me your best shot, huh? Hey, Owen, are you there? I can't seem to get into the house. What's going on? Why isn't my key working? Did you change the locks or something? Wait a second. This is probably all that damn Tiffany's fault, isn't it?
No, Carmen. Tiffany has nothing to do with this at all.
What do you mean? Then what's going on?
I'm afraid that all of this was by my own doing. I had the locks changed while you were away. You're not going to be able to get into any of those doors with the keys that you have on you now.
I don't understand, though. Why would you do something like this to me? How am I supposed to get inside now? And don't think I don't know this isn't all about that little Miss Uppity who I ran out of the house. Are you really going to choose her over your own wife?
Yes. Tiffany told me all about how you wanted to kick her out of our house.
And so what? Who cares what I want to do to her?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that Tiffany isn't going to be the only one moving out. We're moving out too.
I don't get what you're trying to say. This is our home. Why would you leave? Why would you all take Tiffany's side like this?
Look, Carmen, I know the house is yours. I'm not going to fight you on that.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking you questions that you're not answering.
And I'm telling you what you need to know. You can have the house. You were the one that wanted a place this huge anyways. A beautiful exterior, a huge backyard that hardly ever gets used, peeling paint on the long empty halls. You insisted on such an expensive house, and have done nothing to take care of it at all.
But wait, if you all leave, then that means I'll be left to pay for the rest of the mortgage.
You're not letting me finish here. The house is already paid off, and the one who did it is Tiffany's father.
You can't be serious about that, right?
No. When she moved in here, he offered to pay off the house since she'd be living with us. He spoke to me about it, and so I transferred the mortgage to his name so that he could pay it off. So while the house may be yours in spirit, legally speaking, it belongs to Tiffany's family.
But why wasn't I informed about any of this at all? How could you just choose to do something that huge and important without telling me first?
I tried to bring it up and mention it to you, but you weren't listening to me at all. But anyways, Tiffany knows all of this, and she knows that you don't have a right to throw her out. So when I meant that we were moving out, I meant you and I.
That can't be right. She wasn't even there for our daughter's wedding, and you're going to give her the house? We should sue her. She can't kick us out of here.
Carmen, the house isn't ours. We don't have a claim to it. If we were sued, the case would be thrown out right away.
No, that can't be right. You don't really mean that.
You know, Tiffany didn't have to let us keep living there after her dad paid the house off. She was doing it out of the kindness of her heart.
And now she's using that kindness to try and throw us out of our own home?
Carmen, do you really think you have any right to be this mad right now? I mean, do you really not know why she's acting like this?
Are you really asking me if I have any idea why she's stabbing her family in the back like this? No, I guess I don't.
Well then, I just don't know what to say. But you should know that Tiffany has been nice enough to get us a hotel room for a few days. Maybe you should go and apologize to her, because things aren't going to look great for you if you don't.
You have got to be kidding me. You can't really expect me to apologize to a woman like that. Owen, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that I'm getting rather sick of living in this hotel and would love to come back home if that's okay with you. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind talking to Tiffany and asking if we can't go back to living in our home.
I already told you, Carmen. If you want to fix this, you're the one that's going to have to go and talk to Tiffany. And then it's up to Tiffany whether or not she wants to forgive you for what she's done.
Oh, come on. She's still young. She has her life ahead of her, and she's going to hang on to a grudge like this? Don't you see that you've been tricked by her? That's why you're taking her side. You don't realize what you're doing.
Okay. Now you just are being ridiculous, Carmen. I'm not being tricked, and I'm well aware of what I'm doing. None of this is Tiffany's fault at all. Do you understand?
Of course it's all her fault. If it's not her fault, then whose else's fault could it possibly be?
You mean to tell me that you still don't get it? How have you gone this far without blaming yourself for any of this? You're always just trying to say that you're right when you're the problem. You're doing it now. You did it at the wedding. You do it all the time. You're always ignoring whatever Tiffany says to you and trying to give her more orders instead. And now, you've dried up her patience when she was the one doing kind things for us, and here we are. You're the reason we've lost the house. But why do you care when it was a house we could barely afford and that you didn't take care of? Instead, you insisted that we buy it, have us up to our necks in debt, and still lost the house in the end.
Man, you're such a crybaby. Do you know that? I didn't realize I married a toddler.
So you're really just going to blow everything I just said off? You're the problem here. You aren't living in the real world. You're only interested in yourself, and you don't care about who you hurt to get what you want. I mean, you were literally trying to make your daughter-in-law work when she could be having your grandchild any day now. You do realize she's pregnant with our grandchild, don't you? Why would you try and put her under so much stress and work her like that?
What is this? What do you know about being pregnant? I was working just as hard as I ever was that day I had our first child.
You really are just delusional. I don't even know what else I can say to you but this. It wasn't Tiffany who should have gotten the divorce. It was us. That much is obvious to me now.
You don't really mean that, do you, Owen?
I'm afraid I do. No matter what I try, you just refuse to listen to anyone but yourself. And I don't want to be attached to you and responsible for you when you go out acting like this. I can't be married to a criminal.
A criminal? Did you really just call me that? And what crime could I have possibly done?
You mean you still haven't figured it out? You do realize that forging signatures on divorce paperwork is illegal, don't you? You committed fraud when you signed those papers for Tiffany and our son. And you committed fraud when you had those papers processed in their names too. I heard that Tiffany's already gone to the police about it too.
There you go. She isn't really part of this family if this is the way that she chooses to act toward her family. Can't you see that she's just heartless?
The only heartless one I can see here is you. But that's exactly why I want the divorce. so that I don't have to be family with you anymore. I'll talk to you when I've gotten all the paperwork ready. Then you can finally sign divorce papers with your own name. What do you think of that?
Please don't do this too. You're not thinking straight, Owen. You're not really going to leave me over this, are you? Owen, answer your messages right now. I'm trying to talk to you. This is all your fault. If you had just been at the wedding like I asked you to be, then none of this would have happened. But now my husband is leaving me, and it's all your fault.
I really have no idea what you think you're doing messaging me right now. I've already said all that I have to say to you. What do you think we're going to accomplish doing this?
You think the whole world needed to bend over backwards for you just because you're pregnant? I was just asking for a little help, just a hand in dealing with the wedding, and apparently even that was too big of an ask for you.
You weren't asking for a little help. You were trying to make me plan a whole wedding all by myself. Do you have any idea how my mother died? She was pregnant with my little sister. She died and the doctors were barely able to save my little sister. She was born weeks premature. I was so scared with all the stress and work you were putting me under that the same thing might happen to me. And no matter how many times I told you I couldn't do it or needed help, you refused to listen to me. Instead, you insisted that everything be done your way with no regard for the well-being or of myself or my baby. I don't even know if now you're aware of the damage that you could have done with your recklessness. But I never, ever want to live with you ever again.
Well, you should have talked to me about this. I had no idea this was all going through your head. But instead, you just had to announce that you weren't going to the wedding with no further explanation.
I did explain all of this to you, Carmen. I explained it to you over and over again, and you just didn't listen. If not, this just proves that my words went in one ear and straight out the other for you. You never cared about anything or anyone other than yourself.
You don't honestly think that, do you? You have to know that of course I would have taken your side if you had just explained things to me. Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to break you and my son up despite knowing how much money you got from your late father?
Oh, I know that. Just who do you think paid for your own daughter's wedding? It certainly wasn't you. Owen came to me and told me that you two couldn't afford even the most humble of weddings because of the debt that you had gotten yourselves into. He came to me, hat in hand, and asked if I wouldn't mind helping to fund the wedding.
But you can't be serious. I didn't have any idea about this.
Well, now you do. Your daughter's wedding, your own house, it's all thanks to me and my family that you had either. But then you just had to go off and act the way that you did. And now that everything is falling apart around you, you're just looking for someone to blame. If you want your house back, you can have it. But you'll have to pay me back for what my dad paid.
I don't have that kind of money. Do you really expect a lady at my age to go back to work?
I don't expect you to do anything. After all, you couldn't even really afford to live in this house anyway.
Well, look, if it's money you want, then you should go to my husband for the house and my daughter for the wedding.
You just don't get it. But you'll get what's coming to you soon enough. After that, Owen contacted Carmen about their divorce. He had gotten the divorce papers, signed his half of them, and told her that she had only to sign her half and it could all be finally over. Of course, at the same time that was going on, I was also suing Carmen for her falsified divorce papers. The lawyer that Carmen had hired to try and handle all of these sudden cases advised her to fold on every single one. He told her she didn't have a legal leg to stand on and that it would be cheaper and easier for her to accept the divorce and losses. Carmen pled guilty to forging the signatures and was slapped with a heavy fine to pay me. Carmen was pushed deeper and deeper into a debt that there was no way she was ever going to be able to dig herself out of. I hear that now she lives in a tiny apartment all by herself, working multiple part-time jobs just to make ends meet. As for me, after my lawsuit with Carmen, my marriage status was restored, and about a week after that, I finally gave birth to my child. Once I had dealt with Carmen, it was like a weight had suddenly been lifted off my shoulders. The final week of my pregnancy was a breeze without all the stress that I had been dealing with before. Even the birthing process went so much smoother than I thought it would. It was like I was able to enter a totally peaceful mind state in the euphoria of being freed from Carmen. I still keep in contact with Owen, and he was so happy to finally meet his new grandson. We avoid the topic of Carmen usually, but there is always something else to talk about. In the end, I am just glad that I have a true family around me. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.